happening in D.C. right now. So, Congressman, let's start off just broadly, because today is a month to the day. Great to see you. A month to the day since the elections. And just curious, our viewers are so curious as to whether or not there's really been a change in tone from the White House, that compromise is really in the air. What do you think?
Well, you know, I was talking to our incoming Speaker, John Boehner, yesterday, and we were chatting about the meeting at the White House, and I think the tone has changed, but the content hasn't. I mean, we're hearing a more conciliatory tone coming from the administration. I think there are reports that the president actually expressed some sense of disappointment in his own administration's failure to reach out more, but you know, quite frankly, with the legislative stunt that's coming to the floor this afternoon that'll result in an enormous tax increase in January on small business owners and family farmers, it's pretty much business as usual on Capitol Hill, and I think that's why the American people made the decisive change that they made 1 month ago.
So what you're calling is a stunt is the Democrats introducing in the House a bill to extend the Bush-era tax cuts to those families making up to $250,000 and less. And essentially the criticism has been that they were drawing a line in the sand, they're forcing a vote. But you today are introducing legislation as well that would extend the Bush-era tax cuts permanently, which is also being viewed as a line in the sand and not really a move towards compromise. Why are you choosing to introduce that legislation now and maybe not a bill that includes thoughts from the Democrats as well?
Well, because I really believe that the American people know the last thing we should do in the worst economy in 25 years is raise taxes on anybody. And so I'm going to unhook the microphone in a second and walk over and raise the curtain alongside Senator Jim DeMint on a bill that would permanently extend all the current tax rates, which would mean we would permanently repeal death taxes once and for all. We'd permanently fix AMT with a patch. And look, as I said at the Detroit Economic Club Monday, I think most Americans know, Jenna, uncertainty is the enemy of our prosperity. I mean, saying that there's going to be a tax increase 2 years from now, or saying that we're going to raise taxes on some Americans and not others, leaves further uncertainty in the system. We think the time has come to make it clear to the American people in this economy and the world community, here's our tax rates, this is what they're going to be permanently, and then we can get on with growing this economy, encouraging investment, and putting Americans back to work.
Congressman, a lot of our viewers on our chat board have said that they agree with you. They think that's a great idea. But just the agreement doesn't help you pass legislation. So how will you get the other side to compromise with you on that issue so we have some sort of agreement before the end of the year?
Well, you know, I've been saying the last 4 years that a minority in Congress plus the American people equals a majority, Jenna. And I still believe that. We've got a new Republican majority is going to show up in town here in January. But right now, Republicans and conservatives are in the minority. But we got the American people on our side. All we're asking, all Jim DeMint is going to ask of the Senate, I'm going to ask of the House, is if you're going to bring your bill to the floor today, that only preserves and makes permanent tax relief for Americans under a certain amount, raises taxes on others, then let's at least have a fair up or down vote on our version, which is to make all current tax rates permanent. And I got to tell you, I don't know for certain what would happen if we had a straight up or down vote on it, but I like our chances. I think you know, the members of Congress who are here, Democrats who are coming back, heard the message a month ago and have given the opportunity to make those tax rates permanent. I think we got a fighting chance to do it. But we need a vote, and if the administration wants to demonstrate that they aren't just changing the tone and the tenor, but they're changing the content of their relationship with Republicans on Capitol Hill, they'll tell their party, give Republicans a vote on permanent tax extension.
Well, our viewers are looking forward to hearing more about a compromise to come. What personally have you done, Congressman Pence? Have you taken some Democrats out to lunch? Have you guys shared a glass of wine? How does this actually get done?
Well, look, we're as I said, Jim DeMint and I are raising the curtain in the House and the Senate today on a permanent extension bill. We're going to start the process of distributing that among our members. I've been talking to colleagues in both political parties about this economy, and I have to tell you, I mean, people talk about a compromise, but I don't know why a tax increase that doesn't make sense in January makes sense 2 Januaries from now. I mean, if anything, we're going to end up delaying our recovery for another 2 years. And I'll tell you, people back in Muncie, Indiana, don't want to wait 2 more years for this economy to start growing again.
So quick final question, this one from a viewer named Fren. Fren Askin has this, and he's giving a reason for why you should not extend the tax cuts to the rich. He says, tax the rich. It's proven that it won't affect your jobs because the rich don't spend like the middle class and the poor do. What's your response to him?
Well, I think if you look at the data, an enormous percentage of consumer spending in this economy is taken up in Americans that have incomes over the amount that they want to raise taxes on. And at the end of the day, look, I would just say, anybody that thinks that raising taxes on job creators is going to create jobs, I think is going to meet with an argument from me. I think most Americans know higher taxes aren't going to get anybody hired. So right now, let's do what we can, have a fair up or down vote. They want to do their thing today for a tax increase in January, so be it. But give us, on the Pence to Mint bill, a straight up or down vote on making all the tax rates permanent. I got a feeling millions of Americans would let their voice be heard, and we might just be able to put some real certainty into the tax code and lay a foundation that we can begin to grow this economy again.
30 seconds here, Congressman Pence, but if you do get a vote and a compromise on the Bush-era tax cuts, will you vote in favor of extending unemployment benefits yet again?
Well, I've voted to extend unemployment benefits in the past. I'm anxious to do so again, particularly during the holiday season for hurting families, but it's absolutely imperative that we pay for it, and we can use unused stimulus dollars. I think the last price tag on an unemployment extension was about $40 billion. Jenna, we can pay for an unemployment extension, and Republicans are determined to fight on behalf of taxpayers and on behalf of hurting families at the same time to accomplish that.
You have a busy day ahead. I know you're running to another microphone. We appreciate you joining us today ahead of that, Congressman Pence. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jen.
All right, imagine you're in a foxhole in some